Anyone in the news media who tells you that Donald Trump has answered reporters' questions and Kamala Harris hasn't is lying to you. And they're too stupid to know that they're lying to you.
We're going to watch this entire video together, painstakingly, for the 5 minutes that he goes on. This is Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC talking about the lies that Donald Trump perpetrated during his press conference at Mar-a-Lago. Now, I watched this video in good faith. It's like, maybe if he, lied blatantly about something, I would like to know about it in the attempt to defend conservative ideals and conservative values. So I watched the whole thing, and I want you to watch it with me to see if throughout this 5-minute video, he actually brings up any of these supposed lies that Donald Trump committed at Mar-a-Lago. Because I was watching this hoping to go, okay, so he said that, that's now good. Geez. I'll have to, again, defend the values of conservatism. But the whole video, he doesn't actually bring up any examples. He just says the man lies. And again, maybe I'm missing something, but let's watch it together. This is MSNBC talking about something that they provide zero proof for.
And absolutely no comment from the reporters who were allowed to throw questions at him today about how could you possibly flip-flop like that? Well, it was 2016 all over again today. Donald Trump spoke at his home in Florida for over an hour, and all of the cable news networks, including this one, carried it live, just like they all did repeatedly in 2016. It would be hard to find a sentence in what Donald Trump said today that did not include at least one lie.
Okay, so makes a claim. It's difficult to find one singular sentence that did not include a lie because Donald Trump lies so much. Okay, go. Bring on the examples.
Some of the networks tried to play catch up with fact-checking after Donald Trump finished speaking, but that, of course, is way too late and utterly useless. No network even attempted to fact-check every lie Donald Trump told. Every network has the capacity, especially with these wide screens we now have at home, to run a live scroll at the side of the screen, fact-checking many of Donald Trump's lies. Not all of them, that would be impossible, but many of them as he speaks. For example, when Donald Trump said, quote, Kamala Harris is not smart enough to do a news conference, the networks could have simply put on the side of the screen, Kamala Harris is a graduate of Howard University and University of California Hastings College of Law. Of course, Donald Trump proved once again today that he is not smart enough to do a news conference.
Hold on, was that an example of a lie? I mean, it's an opinion, maybe a little bit hyperbolic, but one, she hasn't given a press conference, so it's fully within his rights to say, hey, why haven't you given a press conference? Is it because you're too stupid? But then to call that a lie, okay, good luck with that one. And even still, well, no, she went to Howard University and Hastings Law School. I don't know what the acceptance rate at Howard University is, but the Hastings Law School acceptance rate around the time when she was going, I think it was like 30 or 40%. Not exactly what I would call a rigorous admissions process. Again, I'm not here to, argue that Kamala Harris is too stupid to do a press conference. I happen to think she is. But I don't know, we just spent a couple minutes here saying it's hard to even imagine a single sentence where there wasn't a lie. Here are 0 examples. And I guess maybe this is the example he gives. Maybe this is what he thinks a lie is, in which case we have a very different definition of what lying is. What's lying is Tim Walz saying J.D. Vance, had marital relations with a couch, which I know he didn't actually say that specifically, but he nodded to it, and I think that was just as bad. So anyway, maybe he brings up more examples.
By saying something that was provably false in every response he gave to every single question.
Like what?
Most of those were knowing lies by Donald Trump. But
like
many
what?
of the falsehoods Donald Trump spread today in his responses came from that vast well of stupidity that takes up most of his brain. The
Like
stupidest person who has ever won a nomination for president stood there in front of those reporters and said his opponent isn't smart enough to do what he was failing at right in front of those reporters. And to make a bad news coverage situation worse, none of the networks, none of them, carried Kamala Harris's speech live after the Trump appearance. None of them.
Okay, that's not a good example. Trump was giving, again, an extemporaneous public media appearance in which he asked questions that anybody could ask, any questions. Like I said, or I've said earlier, he took questions from Molly Haberman, who was a big-time, Trump is a Russian asset, Russian collusion, Vladimir Putin, blah, 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 blah. He took, I think, 2 questions from her, so, okay. There's some sort of interest value there, rather than Kamala Harris doing another telepromptered scripted speech that is basically just a repeat of what she did last night and the night before. Why would you carry that live? He has to be smart of this. Lawrence O'Donnell is a big-time player in media. I don't think he's dumb necessarily, but are you going to provide any examples of Donald Trump and the outrageous lies? Couldn't even get through one sentence without lying. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
This network brought you the last few minutes of Kamala Harris's speech live, but was actually doing Olympics coverage when the speech began and kept doing it. And so, as a first order of business in this hour tonight, we will correct that mistake by presenting to you in full and unedited, as if live, everything that Kamala Harris said today in her speech in Michigan, which all of the networks knew was coming. They knew what time it was coming. They knew how to cover it live, and they didn't.
Because they knew what she was going to say, because she hasn't talked extemporaneously. She hasn't spoken off the cuff. She hasn't answered any media questions. She hasn't done any interviews. Why would they cover it again? She's just going to read off the piece of paper the same thing she read the night before.
After giving Donald Trump more than an hour of live coverage on all of their networks. It's 2016 all over again. The same mistakes are being made. I have never seen an industry slower at learning from its own stupid mistakes than the American news business. And you cannot expect them in the next 89 days to figure out what they haven't been able to figure out in 9 years, how to cover a Trump for president campaign. One of the Harris-Walz campaign slogans now is, "We're not going back." But we just went back today. We went back 9 years in the press coverage of the campaign, the media coverage. Donald Trump gets credit from the people he lied to today for lying to them. They appreciate it.
About what?
Reporters understandably and incorrectly believe that the most important thing a candidate can do is answer their questions. But they don't know what an answer actually is. Words spoken after their question marks are not necessarily answers and are never answers when they come from Donald Trump.
We're still at not really giving any examples. The thing that I think is fascinating about this, and we'll finish up the last 47 seconds, but I don't think he gives a clear and definitive, this particular thing was a lie. He just says, no, he lied the whole time. Great. Prove it to me. The thing that I think is fascinating about this is the seriousness, the acting job. Because like I said, I don't think Lawrence O'Donnell is a dumb person. And maybe take that as a compliment, I guess. I don't think he's stupid. But the problem with that is if he's not stupid, then he's lying. And I don't know which one is worse. Well, lying is definitely worse. But clearly here he's... Can you believe the lies that Donald Trump told? Look, I get it. You don't like the guy. Well, that's fine. We can disagree on things, but at least come to the table with some sort of preparedness to say, he said this, he said this, he said this, he said this. And the comeback that MSNBC, DNC, MSNBC, whatever they are, is going to take is, well, we've covered in depth the amount of lies. No, they haven't. They just say, well, he lies about this. Or they'll take something out of context and then lie themselves, calling him a liar. Like the whole, there were good people on both sides in Charlottesville. Yeah, that was completely out of context, and he wasn't talking about the people that you're trying to make it out to seem like he was talking about, which is a blatant, bold-faced lie. So all that to be said is the acting job here is honestly exquisite, and I think that actually might be the bigger problem here. I don't think Lawrence O'Donnell is dumb, although he might be. I don't think so. I think he himself is lying about somebody else lying, which I think is a bigger problem. Here's the last little bit of this, but I don't think he goes anywhere substantial.
There are rumblings in the news media now about Kamala Harris as a presidential candidate not doing what Donald Trump did today. Stand up in front of reporters and take their questions. And some of the tinier minds in the news media continue to give credit to Donald Trump for standing up and lying in response to every single question they ask. A lie is not an answer. Donald Trump never answers reporters' questions. Never. Anyone in the news media who tells you that Donald Trump has answered reporters' questions and Kamala Harris hasn't is lying to you, and they're too stupid to know that they're lying to you because they don't know what an answer is.
That's amazing. Like, honest to God, that is amazing that he has the audacity. I mean, there's no shame, I guess, in this business. I have some, which probably is why I'm not big and famous. But no shame whatsoever. He says, if anybody says that Donald Trump, and he gives him credit for taking questions from the media, which is kind of the whole point of running the country. The media is the intermediary between the voters and the guy in charge. If anybody gives him credit for that, they are stupid and they are lying. That is a lie. I don't know. I hate the verbiage. I hate the fact that we're all just saying a lie. You're a liar. No, you're a liar. No, you're a liar. But I guess it's up to the American people to decide whether or not buffoons like this are to be trusted. Like, he goes on a 5-minute tirade. Donald Trump is the biggest liar. I have no examples, but he is. Trust me. A man in a suit being serious. I say as a man laughing in half of a suit. I'm going with my Jack Posobiec look today. Cargo pants and a blazer and tennis shoes. Shout out, Jack. What up? But I don't know, dude. I can't get myself in the headspace to just to spew all of the crap that some of these people are willing to just throw out there. And I don't know if shame is a good thing. I think that's what we'll end this on. Shame is a good thing, and people should have more of it, especially in media positions like one Larry O'Donnell here on MSDNC.